Happy New Year, Coach.
3 years.
3 years.
This is year 3
of
the Crushing Iron Triathlon podcast.
Oh, that's right. It is.
We have officially been coming to you for technically 3 different years.
Twice a week.
2016, 17, and now 18.
That is impressive. A triathlon podcast that's covered 3 years and 2 a week for, I think we're on episode 125.
125, yep, which is awesome. Yeah, but yeah, from starting in late 2016, the whole 2 days a week for every week in 2017, and we plan on doing just that, if not more. And what will prove to be probably just another very awesome and exciting 2018.
Oh, there's a lot of excitement around that. I mean,
I know there is.
There's got always excitement. Frigid temperatures, it seems like, all over the place, and today we're going to appropriately talk about swimming.
We are. Do you have any did you make any New Year's resolutions?
No, I did not. But I started on a good, I was in bed early last night. Got up early, just, more consistency. I mean, I don't have a general resolution or anything like that, but I have, and again, I haven't changed my diet, but I've started a new little bit of a probiotic addition, like supplement, but with foods, fermented foods and things like that I found at a local health shop in Beloit, Wisconsin, called Bushel and Peck.
Bushel and Peck.
Yeah, so I've been eating, sauerkraut and beets and pickled and all, pickled whatevers, and supposedly that's good for your digestion, and I feel like I need that, so that's where I'm at. I'm digging it. I've really been and cutting out carbs and things like that a little bit, and sugar.
Whoa.
Oh, sugar.
Jesus.
I'm hoping that this naturally takes care of that. I'm not going to say here I'm going to quit all this crap, but I'm just going to be like, last night I was like, man, I really feel like a pizza, and I went to the pickled beets and some tuna and some sauerkraut, and it was delicious.
Okay. That's good to hear, man.
It eliminated a full pizza.
You're not going to start like meal-splaining everything, are you?
Meal-splaining?
Yeah, because that's what this time of year is. Everybody like reads like one article or hops on one diet, and they're all of a sudden they put like a PhD in the back of their name. Like everybody becomes a professional at like their newest diet.
No. Well, have you seen my Instagram page? It's covered in beets.
You're not gonna start.
No, I'm good, man.
You could probably actually start like a parody account. They have like Beats by Dre. You could do Beats by Mike, and it can be like actual like pickled beets.
I like that, man.
And just start meal-splaining everybody. Beats by Mike, and
first follower, Rich Roll.
That's it. he's a meal-splainer.
Oh yeah.
The veganism, and yeah, you get everybody. But yeah, I didn't make any real New Year's resolutions. I kind of well, yeah, that's not true. I went to the poll this morning, fired up on all the questions that we're going to cover today from our closed group, and went to the locker room at like 7:30. The gym didn't open until 7 this morning. Still a lot of people there, and I walked in, and I kind of had two really cool revelations, I guess. And there was some like CBS like morning show crap that was on the TV in the locker room, and anyway, it was supposed to be inspirational. I'm gathering, and anyway, it was talking about astronauts, and I like literally like the second step I took in the locker room, I heard this quote: "On average, it takes an astronaut 10 years of being an astronaut before they can actually get to space."
That's pretty good patience there, man.
And I was like, man, now that is a great way to start your year. Of like, if you're going to use like a long-term process, patience, orientate, all that kind of stuff. And then the second thing that I noticed, is kind of how I want, and I'm kind of already this in a nutshell, but I want to approach every day like the old dude at the Y.
You're going to sit in the sauna and watch Animal Planet?
What? They have a TV in the Y where you go? That could really generate some interesting...
Downtown, man. They just sit around. There's couches and everything. They just sit there for hours.
Yeah, but, I mean, not in that aspect, but like to the old dudes, like New Year's Day doesn't mean jack shit to them.
Yeah, you're right.
But they're like the biggest creatures of habit you can possibly imagine. Like, I get up, I hit the pool this morning, and I was easily the only person under 50 in the pool today. And you look at these people, and you're like, this isn't like a New Year's resolution. This is like, you know what I do every Monday? I go to the pool at 7 o'clock. So this is what I do, and I'm going to do it again. And then I hit the sauna, and then I do this. But like, they approach every day the same. Every single day. They just do their thing. They get in a routine. They get into, a rhythm, and they just keep doing it. No day is any different. No day is any more important than the other. They just move right along. And so for me this year, I'm gonna approach every day like an old person. No day is any really more special than the other. I'm just gonna do my thing, get in a routine, stick to as much to a schedule as I can, and take care of business.
So you're gonna try and be like me in 2000, old person.
I mean,
it's not really. I should take that same, advice
you could
people my age.
I did hit the sauna today, but I've been doing that before and after swims here recently. But yeah.
It does come to writing it out, man. Planning it out and sticking to it.
Planning it out. But
Nothing fancy.
So hit the pool, was pumped about swimming, and why not? Everybody else is pumped about swimming today too.
Seems like it, yeah. And that's the one thing that I held strong to over the Christmas break and sub-zero temperatures. I got in the pool about 6 out of the 10 days, which I felt pretty strong about.
Solid.
Yeah, and so I'm excited about the swimming too. So before we get into this, we ought to mention that, you're doing. We do swim analysis, and it's simple. You submit a video, and Coach Robbie, will look at it and kind of illustrate it and walk through it. And go ahead, man.
We did this last year. It was obviously our first year of doing a lot of this, but we launched a video swim analysis. I used Coach's Eye software, and just this last year alone, I did over 100 swim analysis, and then also worked with over 60 people in person, going over swim stroke and making changes and corrections. And it will probably always be the most mysterious and questioning and that leaves people just like straight up befuddled all the time. And we've done 2 podcasts on this already, How to Not Suck at Swimming Part 1 and Part 2. Today will be part number 3. But I posted in our Crushing Iron closed group earlier this morning that we were doing it, and I mean, the questions like rained. And honestly, like, I don't care where you go to get help or to get correction, but literally a lot of this stuff, like, it's so easily corrected, and the swim analysis process is super easy. Or even coming to one of our swim camps, take care of it, it's done. I mean, we got testimonials out the yin yang for the benefits people have had from just one swim analysis, like taking 10 to 15 seconds off per 100. And then the people who came to camp this last year, even just with 2 open water sessions, saw a huge gain. So it's not a huge financial investment in terms of the scope of triathlon, where you can just like purchase a bike helmet for like $300. It's a great thing to do. I would encourage anybody to do it. If you want more information, you can go to crushingiron.com and view a nice video about the swim analysis process, promo about our swim camps, and then obviously if you have any just personal questions about how the whole thing works, you can reach me personally at c26coach@gmail.com.
Right, and that's a big thing, because I mean, we always talk about it, but swimming kind of always seems like it takes a backseat with a lot of triathletes.
Always.
And we always try to raise that perspective on that, because we think it's huge, that it's just completely underestimated, and how it can affect your race over the long term, especially whether you got a lot more confidence going in there or whatever, or you want to get out of the water fresh, everything like that is just like plays so hard into the domino effect that you talk about.
Well, it's just as important as every other sport.
Yeah, but it's not as much time in the race, so everybody kind of just
Everybody poo-poos it, and that's why we get a million questions, because nobody takes the time to think through some things. And it is of all three sports, it's the most technical. It's the hardest to learn later on in life. There's also a million different ways to look at it and schools of thought. So yeah, it's super confusing. People tend to not put it on the back burner, but it is how you set up your race, and it is it is the way you want to start every race fresh and fast, so that you can actually end up biking and running your potential, those things that you put so many hours and so many miles into, and then you just think, oh, well, I'm just not gonna, worry about, what I'm gonna do. I mean, people go. It's funny, like before we were talking this, but buddies, the bike shop the other day. It's like people will literally come in before a race and drop like triathletes are like famous for this, drop in like $300 to $400 before a race on their final bike tune-up. New tires, new tubes, new chain, new workover, all new parts, cable, housing, bolts, nuts, you name it, they do it. $400 just to hope that it actually runs perfectly, and just fingers crossed they don't get a flat on race day.
Yeah.
But they'll spend like $0 and little time and effort on the entire 2.4 miles that actually precede actually hopping on their bike.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've been there. It's really nice to get out of the swim without your eyes rolling back in your head and like dizzy, and like getting on a bike with your head just completely screwed up and you're tired and freaked out. It's nice to be comfortable in the swim. So
it is.
How to Not Suck at Swimming #1 is our podcast. It's podcast number 12. How to Not Suck at Swimming #2 is podcast number 20. So if you want to catch back up on that, there's a lot of good stuff about specific approaches to stroke and swimming and things you need to be working on. And today, we're going to dive into the questions presented in our closed group, which you can find on Facebook. Just search Crushing Iron Group on Facebook. And there's a lot of great conversation, a lot of good people in there. And we're going to dive into the questions. So are you ready, bro?
Let's go, man. Let's rock.
All right, let's start with the first question we got, and this is a common one, and I have dealt with this forever, and I go in and out of this and figuring out what the heck is going on, and it's basically revolves around drag and how to keep your legs up, sinking legs. What do you tell people, or what do you talk about, like when that is like the first question they give you?
This is almost without fail one of the biggest issues every triathlete has, and one of the main reasons it's an issue is a lot of triathletes, most triathletes come to swimming from a cycling or running background, especially a cycling background where they're going to have these huge, like more muscular legs. It's harder for them to, and there maybe even a slighter upper body. It's harder for them to establish good body positioning, so they have legs that sink. And so a lot of people think, oh well, if I'm going to fix my legs from sinking, I'm just going to kick more.
Right.
And that is the opposite of what you should do, because you probably don't have a established A, a rhythm for your kick, or B, even just the proper mechanics for a kick. You see a lot of people that kick from the knee, and kicking poorly actually will slow you down versus speeding you up. And honestly, the first thing you need to do when working on sinking legs is think through body position, and you need to start from the top.
Okay.
You don't need to start from the legs. You need to start from the top down. You need to first start with your head. And always what I tell people, and this is one of the other reasons why we do, the athletes that I work with, we do things like band work and a lot of pull buoy and other things, is chin tucked, not head shoved down, chin tucked. Simply tucking your chin. If you're sitting in your chair right now and you're listening to this podcast and you just tuck your chin, or if you stand straight up and you simply just tuck your chin, you can feel your butt kind of sit up or kind of raise. And so if you lay parallel like you are on the water and you simply tuck your chin, well, guess what? Your butt's going to rise a little bit. And what happens when your butt goes up? Your legs follow. Right. One of those very easy things. Also, one thing you can do is worry about shoving your chest down, which is something that might sound like, how do I shove my chest down? But if you're swimming and you really think about like pressing your chest down with each stroke and having your chin tucked, you were, again, if you press your chest down, another thing that follows is your rear end. Those are the first two things that I really that people need to be aware of and drive home when they think about their legs and not sinking. The other thing that is often very much overlooked when it comes to sinking legs is if you don't have a really, really good let me rephrase that. The better catch and the better pull that you have, the easier it is for you to sit higher in the water. So if you enter and this is another one of those things that's really hard to explain, and it's better seeing like your own self in a video or having someone do a video. But the earlier your catch is another way to get your body to sit higher in the water. And if your body sits higher in the water, your legs obviously sit higher as well. So always work from the chin down in terms of trying to address your sinking legs before you start to think, oh, I can just probably kick them and thrash them around here and there and northeast, south, and west, and that's going to fix my problem. But in reality, it just causes you to, most oftentimes, to just sink more.
Now, when you say, that doesn't mean the catch doesn't mean earlier in the water. That's not the entry, right? So you just mean how when you get a vertical.
When you get the better you get your EVF or early vertical forearm, the higher you will continue to stay in the water. And honestly, a lot of the reason people can't get an early vertical forearm is because their legs are sinking so much that gravity is just working against them. They're just sitting there. So think of it this way: think of a seesaw, and you've got one person laying on the end of the seesaw. Mm-hmm. The other one's going to be, just sticking straight up in the air, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you are swimming. So think about trying to be the one who's laying on the, feet on the ground, laying on the board of the seesaw, and trying to reach up to the top. You can't, because all your weight is where? At the bottom. Mm-hmm. So trying to get up and over and create that seesaw to where it actually gets level is really, 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 really hard, because you're bottom heavy. But if you can get it to where that seesaw, you're more into the middle and that seesaw is laying level, well, then how much easier it is if you just throw your arm over for you to be that last little, that click, that hitch, that up and over that makes the seesaw now go forward. Right. Does that make sense? Is that visual?
Yeah. Now you talk, we went through, I kind of rediscovered that chin tuck this summer because I gotten away from it, because what'll happen a lot of times, especially in open water, is that you'll get into this oversighting mode and you're looking up a lot, and that's doing the exact opposite of what you talked about with the chin tuck. And it's not, so you're oversighting for one, but I think what happened naturally with me anyway was that even when I wasn't sighting, I think my neck had a tendency to be, a little higher. I wasn't doing the chin tuck, because I was just always in this my head is flailing kind of mode, and that's just like when you sight like that. I mean, you talk about the opposite of a chin tuck. You can really feel your legs just sink.
Absolutely.
When your head is popping up out of the water, and that's another reason when we talk about sighting, but we'll probably get into that a little bit today. But like that high sight with your chin out of the water and that kind of thing is a bad habit to get into.
Yep, very bad.
All right, let's move on to question number 2. And somebody just generally asked about how do you overcome breathlessness? It's a vague, kind of a wide-ranging question, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably lump in like anxiety and hypoxic, that just whole like outer breath feeling that a lot of people have when they swim. Mm-hmm. And frankly, like most people just don't like hearing the answer. And it is like, it's make sure you're breathing. Mm-hmm. A lot of things, and we work on this at camp, especially because you can see athletes and watch the difference. But a lot of times, athletes, when they get in the water, they breathe, but they forget to exhale with their head in the water.
Right.
And so they end up just hyperventilating, like but they don't breathe. They don't breathe, and then when they put their head back in the water, they don't. They don't have any exhale, so it's all hyperventilating. And so first, don't forget to exhale. underwater, and breathe out through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, whatever you want to do. Especially when I'm racing or doing really, really hard sets, I actually like to make a noise which probably seems weird, but I will just like literally go, like underwater, to make sure that I'm reminding myself to get air out, to make space in my lungs, because I'm now about to breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
So really simple, but something that a lot of athletes totally overlook, which is exhaling underwater so you can actually breathe again. That's why you oftentimes have that like hyperventilating feeling, because you're just not exhaling, you're just inhaling, like breathing through a paper bag.
Yeah.
The other part is swim harder more often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's literally like, I would say honestly, 9 out of 10 triathletes don't swim hard, or they think they are swimming hard and they're not even like coming close to swimming.
Then they come out in a race and they're swimming faster than they ever have, and they don't realize it.
And their heart rate is raised, and they're pumped up, and their adrenaline's pumping as people around them. Like, I would say every single athlete that I've started to work with, their first 2 weeks are like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't understand. 25s all out. So a great example is if you ever if you're going to the pool and you I had this happen the other day, and I'm a huge fan of 25s and 50s, like very, very, very fast, because you work on your aerobic fitness, you work on strength, you work on arm turnover, you work on being comfortable in a race setting. And next time you're in the pool, if you're doing these 25s and 50s, like there was a guy swimming next to me, and he just swam straight for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we would send off at the same time. I would send off after a rest, and I would do a 50 all out, and then I would do about maybe 10 or 15 seconds rest. And he would just be getting to the wall, and then we'd start over. We'd almost start at the same time again. And so you're thinking about benefits, and you're thinking he's just literally practicing staying the same pace for 30 minutes.
Right.
While, yes, am I getting some rest? Well, absolutely. But I'm also raising my average pace. I'm working on my anaerobic threshold. I'm working on becoming faster, and I'm jacking up my heart rate and continually getting used to and pressing and pushing the limits of being uncomfortable. So who do you think's getting the biggest win out of this?
Yeah, well, there's like those are the things, like I think the big part is you don't really notice what's going on in a race sometimes, if it's a wave start or any kind of master, or big congestion or whatever. There's a lot of times when you're in a pickle and you got to pick it up for 10, 15, 20 yards or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's stuff that you have to end up doing, and you're not training yourself to do that if you don't swim hard above your...
Yeah, way above threshold.
Way above, so that, if you need to...
25s all out, like don't even think of anything else. Just literally go as fast as you can, and then take a lot of rest if you need it, but keep doing it. It's like for some reason people think like swimming is totally different than every other sport on the planet. You just don't need to swim hard. Mm-hmm. Like you bike hard, you run hard on occasions, especially on the bike. Like swimming is the safest of all three of those sports. Like if you can't swim so hard, you're going to give yourself a stretch fracture, like in running. It's the safest of all three, but yet people are literally terrified to swim hard. They just want to swim comfortable, or they want to they just want to be easy. I'm just going to flat out tell you, most triathletes and they just literally want to take it easy, and they think that swimming is just this easy thing, and so they just swim easy. They don't want to get out of breath. They're super uncomfortable, and they will literally avoid every single solitary opportunity to swim hard. And so if you want to get faster, you're going to give up that old way of thinking, that stinking thinking, and you're going to choose to swim faster and harder and take rest. Like there's like a lot of times I'll have athletes that I like to call, if you're going to swim really, really fast, then take what I call equal rest. So if you're going to do a 25 and it takes you on all out 25, let's say it takes you 20 seconds, then take equal rest. Mm-hmm. Take 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. If it takes you 18, take 18 seconds. If you get slower and it takes you 28 seconds, take 28 seconds. Like, it's like, oh, I want to get the mileage in. I want to get. And I'm like, just we just create all these different scenarios and like justifications for not swimming hard. Like, but you gotta put. I mean, and I'll be honest. Like, a lot of athletes will like, I don't like this. I was cussing you at the pool. It was satanic. It was terrible. I hated it. Can I have another? Because like once you do it a few times, you're like, man, like it makes everything else seem like so much more chill, so much easier. And it's just, in order to get rid of that, you have to go comfortable. Or excuse me, you have to be willing to be really, really, really uncomfortable in the pool. And I get it, because out of all three of the sports, swimming is the one that terrifies people most. But if you want to do it and you want to get uncomfortable and you want to go breathless, or you want to feel what it's like to be like totally out of breath and winded, do it where you can hang on the lane line, do it where you can stand up, do it hang on to the wall and stop after 25. Don't wait till you get in your open water for the first time and put on a very claustrophobic wetsuit and then surround yourself with 2,500 people in a big race and then expect for things to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Now, just one quick thought I had too on that breathless, or the exhale part of it all, is for the longest time, especially as I was getting used to swimming and everything like that, I realized that as I was turning and kicking off the wall, I was coming up and I was holding my breath, and that is that would start me, But it went on for a long time, and I finally realized like I got to exhale when I'm off the wall, because you're just starting the whole lap with a,
already out of breath.
Yeah, basically, and you can't figure out what's going on, and that's like a recipe for anxiety and breathlessness and whatever. All right, man, let's go on to this topic that. Kicking. How do you fix an incorrect kick? Timing after doing it for years, doing it wrong. How much kicking is ideal to save legs versus going faster? What if your kick is so bad it slows you down? You just want to start ripping into the kick a little bit?
Yeah, I'm just going to... I'll lump all those together if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Most people, their kick slows them down.
Okay.
Because let me rephrase. It does one of two things: either slows them down, or it slows them down and or takes way too much energy for absolutely zero return on investment.
Okay.
Because you're kicking from your knee, or you're not kicking. I mean, listen, we talked about this before in the first podcast, or the How to Not Suck at Swimming Part 1. Your kick is responsible for like less than 1% of your propulsion through the water. It's about arm turnover and early catch. Now, here's where I would start with an athlete's kick. First of all, just stop.
Okay.
Stop doing something wrong is the first thing that you do. So if it's how do I fix an incorrect kick timing after years of doing it wrong, the first thing you do is just totally stop. Stop kicking. Here's what I like to do with athletes, and I rarely ever prescribe any kicking. When I do, it's for one of two reasons. One, and the primary reason I honestly do it, is I'll implement a kick in swimming to kind of use as active recovery from like a hard run or bike session, and it won't even be that much kicking. It'll just be a little bit of like, let's loosen the legs up a little bit. If you're going to do any hard swimming that day, because I know you're going to kick because it's just natural, then I at least want your legs to be a little bit warm. But as far as like fixing an incorrect kick timing, so when you think about kicking, you hear terms like, do you have a 2-beat, a 4-beat, a 6-beat, whatever, like all these different terms for the rhythm in which you kick. And what I like to do with the athletes that for me, you have to get to a point to where you've perfected what matters most, which is your early catch, your EVF, your early vertical forearm, your finish, your arm turnover, your body positioning. Once you've nailed all of those, and your stroke mechanics are close to perfect, and you've basically exhausted all efforts of perfecting what matters about 99% of your swimming. Because let's not even like go into what happens when you throw a wetsuit on somebody and throw them in the water. You basically don't even need to kick, because your body position's like perfect, and it's gonna make your pull even in your catch even easier. And then you throw an athlete in the water with a wetsuit and salt water, like it's almost like sometimes it's hard to like stay in the water. You feel like you're on a surfboard. But if you're a person who still needs to work on perfecting their arm turnover, their arm fitness, their swim specific strength, their form, their catch, their finish, all those kind of things, just shove a pull buoy in between your legs and fix it. Then once you've fixed it, and this is kind of where I am in my stroke development, is I've got my stroke down. And now where I try to implement kick is, or with kicks with specific athletes, if they're there.
Which is like the astronaut 10 years probably for most people.
Well, it is for a lot of people, but like it's like stop watching videos of Michael Phelps and trying to be Michael Phelps. Like, it's, or even worse was like the huge craze like back in the 80s, 90s. Everybody's like, oh, well, Lance Armstrong has a cadence in the 90s. I guess we should all ride our cadence in the 90s. And which is insane and ridiculous, but you like see these different level people with different anatomy and different, PED use and different. They're like, oh, well, I'm just going to do that, and that's the work for me. Like, we're not those people, But so for me right now, I'm at a place where my stroke is where I want it. So for me, I have just recently started to focus a little bit on when and where I add in what I call just a simple 2-beat kick, which is literally just a boom boom, boom boom, boom boom. It's got a rhythm, but it's 2 beats, and the boom boom you hear is my left and my right leg doing the kick, and it literally is boom boom, boom boom. But for me, the reason I inserted it there was for a purpose, for a reason. It's because I have this little lag, because the way that I swim, if you've ever been around me, then open water, I swim with kind of a gallop, a real big right, and a decent left. But my right side is my major mover. I mean, most long distance swimmers have this. Katie Ledecky has it like to a T. If you ever want to see what a gallop swim stroke is, look at Katie Ledecky. She's the best on the planet, like regardless of sex, like male or female, she is the best. But if I'm doing stroke, then I have like kind of a small little pause. And so in order to not just stay stagnant and to help me continually move forward, I do stroke, boom, boom, stroke, boom, boom, stroke, boom, boom. And what that small little boom, boom, which is my 2-beat kick does, is it keeps me from, I wouldn't say I was stalling, but it keeps me kind of, instead of swimming where I might go boom, boom on like a flat surface and kind of slow down, it keeps me still moving on like a slight downhill. Like I'm still gaining speed and moving with speed. I'm not gliding at any point, and so that's why I've inserted it. So a lot of people just kick just for, a lot of people kick just for kicks. Right. But it's the same thing with so many other things. Like in swimming it's the worst because it's so technical and people pick it up so much later in life, and there's so much misinformation. There's so many coaches out there that will tell you to do something and never tell you why, and then we have athletes that never ask why. And that's the biggest thing is ask why, ask questions. Like, don't just be a robot or a mindless athlete. You spend hours and hours on cycling and running, like, gotta figure this out, gotta figure out gear, gotta figure out shoes, gotta figure out GPS watches. Like, do the same thing for the technical part of the sport. And so if you're struggling with your kick, first stop, perfect what matters most, which is your upper body. You literally don't sit here and you can argue till the cows come home that swimming, if you want a perfect body positioning, you have to have a strong kick. You don't. If you're in our crushing iron closed group, I think I even have a video in there of me swimming a 50 with a band, and I'm on top of the water. I think I might still have it somewhere, but you can look in the archives and our videos, I believe, in our crushing iron group. It's all about turnover. It's all about tucking in your core. It's all about engaging your core, tucking your chin, the pull. It's all about that. So before you start worrying about the kick, it's the same thing could be said for, like, kicking is like cycling's race wheels and ceramic ball bearings. It's like, do the work before you start to look for a couple seconds or a couple minutes. Like really put the work in and establish, put some major time in before you start to worry about the 1%. Worry about the 99, which is your stroke, your early vertical forearm, your mechanics, like all the stuff from the waist up. Worry about that first, and then worry about the kick. So
just
so in
general
short,
strength, man.
Yeah, it is. It's general strength. Because I will tell you, and I've come across a lot of athletes in these swim analysis that I can literally tell. And when it's funny because like swimming, and that's why swim analysis are so important and so like mind blowing for people. It's because swimming is like that thing that you like think you're doing one thing, and in reality, oh Jesus, dude, you look way worse or way different, or your arm is over here and you thought it was over there. It's like looking at a hologram. And that's why it's so important to do. Like it's just and like mind blowing because you can finally see, oh, that's what I'm feeling, or that's what I'm seeing. But I see it often. And if you can pause and slow mo, and you can actually watch someone's stroke rate and their body positioning be hurt with how they kick, because usually it drags them down. But yeah, it's stop it and start working on what matters most. And then once you listen, if you're to the point to where your kick matters, then you understand everything, and then you'll know how and what feels right to insert what best kick.
I'm with you there, man. I agree. As a marginally to sometimes okay swimmer, as a like the pull buoy, of course, I've been a big fan of that forever. And like what I think about when I just think about keeping my feet straight when you know what I mean, just to get rid of that little bit of a drag. And every once in a while I notice that I'll just kind of be fluttering them, but it's all controlled because I got the pull buoy in, right? And it's not kicking as much as it's just kind of like moving them on top of the water. And I think sometimes maybe like it's really hard to keep your feet completely still. I mean, it's a lot easier in a wetsuit as you're talking about, but like it just becomes like like you're reaching on one side. It's just a little balance feature sometimes too, more than anything, more than a propulsion, at least for me.
Sure. Well, and most people's kick is so inefficient that it actually, like, and this is like one of the well.
Go ahead, man. It just made me think of when I look over and see people kicking, and their feet are almost on the bottom of the pool. That's how deep the whole kick.
Well, and you look at them, you're like, wait, are you kicking freestyle or breaststroke?
Mm-hmm.
Or butterfly? Yeah. like people like it's so weird how people get. But man, now you lost me.
Sorry, dude. I was talking about the flutter kick and the balance.
It's all right, man. Man, I lost it, man.
That's all right, man. We'll come back.
That's right. That's the most I've ever said about kicking in general. So,
all right. The next question, I think it might have been a little bit of a joke, but let's take a little break here and go into this one. Is how do you get into cold water in the pool? Do you inch in, use a ladder, or do you jump? And I think there's only one solution here, but you can go ahead on that if you want.
You're probably going to say jump straight in.
100%.
Yeah, I would agree. However, if you are as fortunate as I am to have, so over here at the Hermitage Donaldson Family YMCA, they have a steam room and sauna on the pool deck.
Oh, okay. So you can walk right out hot.
So that's what I've been doing here the last week. I've swam, I think today was day 3, so my 3rd day in a row of swimming, and it's been straight cold. And what did I do? I walked in and I was freezing, so I sat in the sauna for 4 or 5 minutes. Just got a little bit of sweat going.
Got a little lather, pool lather.
Little lather, yep, a little pool lather, which is like the opposite of what they want you to do, because they want you to shower before they get in, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And they got enough chlorine in there to kill anything. But that's what I do. I've been hitting the sauna. But yeah, if you don't have that opportunity or you can't, I'm not big on like the warm ups on the pool deck you see people do. But what I will do if I go to a pool that doesn't have that, I'll wear like sweatpants, my hoodie, everything on, warm up for a little bit with some arm circles on deck, just do a little bit to get myself warm, even though it looks like I'm just basically avoiding getting in at all costs. If I can warm up, I'm in a much better mood and a much better attitude to get in the water.
Yeah. And when I do that, I think it's important because the main reason I do it is to induce relaxation. So I don't jump in and then pop up and go, oh my God, it's freezing. I go down and I sit there and I start trying to relax as much as I can. I think you just kind of mentally just say, all right, this isn't that cold,
Yeah.
And then just go right into it instead of like thinking about how cold it is, because then I don't know, because I'm that big Wim Hof fan. I'm all about the cold, man. Just breathe and relax and get in the water.
That's it, man.
Okay. All right. You grew up swimming. Most of us didn't. Do you ever use other strokes, breaststroke, backstroke, butterfly? Do you see any benefit in that, or is that one of those things like just
if you've never swam year round, then you have no business trying to do butterfly.
That's true.
Zero.
Have you ever seen me butterfly? I'm not bad. I'm just kidding. Yeah, butterfly, forget it.
Literally.
If you can't figure out the kick on a freestyle.
Yeah, stop trying. But listen, the best time, if you want some great viewing on butterfly, check out like the day after the swimming and the Olympics start every 4 years. Everybody at the pool the next day, butterfly. It's seriously there's two things you see the most of, like the day after the swimming starts for the Olympics, and I love it because everybody likes it makes everybody like turn into swimming. Is you see all the American flag swim caps come out, and then you see people trying like freaking butterfly who haven't done it in like 30 years. I swim year on growing up for like 12 years. I don't even think about even touching the butterfly. Not even a thought. Like, I think I generally have decent respect from the lifeguards where I swim, and if I did the butterfly, they would like jump in and think I was having a seizure. So pass on the butterfly, okay? Now, having said that, breaststroke and backstroke do have some benefit, and the only reason and I'll do this sometimes for our swim squad workouts, is I'll do, you do choice stroke. And the only reason I ever have, and I don't do it much because I find it pointless, but there are a couple times when it is beneficial to do what I would call choice, like a choice stroke, which is breast and back. Breaststroke and backstroke both have very big pull phases. Butterfly does too, but it's just so hard when you're sinking towards the bottom, and triathletes already do that with freestyle. But breaststroke, as you're making like the cup, you can feel the water really, really, really good on your forearms. So it gives you a good feel for the water, and feel for the water is so important. Backstroke is the same, even though people don't think about it. Backstroke was by far my best of the four growing up swimming year round. But backstroke as well. When you take a stroke and then you finish, you can feel all the water pressing against your forearm. So it really does. It's really for two reasons, or at least the way I prescribe it and when I insert it, is to give you a good feel for the water, to feel the water against your forearm, and the other one is just overall in general body awareness and proprioception, which is awareness of where your body is in space, which is really, really, really hard for anybody to do, much less an triathlete who's never touched swimming before. So that's why I do it. I don't do a ton of it at all. It probably makes up less than 1% of your weekly workouts, even if it's even in there. But no, listen, here and there for getting a good feel. Like basically, I would use it as a drill, as to get like a technical aspect, to get a good feel for the water, to see how this. But no, I don't create like individual medley sets. Like most athletes, we have so much to work on in the pool anyway for just doing freestyle. Why are you wasting time trying to do a breaststroke for like anything longer than like a 25 or a 50? Same with backstroke. It's a good breakup, if you for monotony, but again, it should be used for a purpose. And if you don't know why you're doing it, then the chances are you haven't been getting absolutely anything out of it because you had no idea what you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, I think I like to think about well-rounded, and I think that's the whole interesting thing about triathlon. It's 3 sports, and that sort of, rounds you out more than just being a runner or a cyclist or whatever the case may be. Now you're talking about triathlon, well-rounding out the swimming, and then you're creating how many more sports are you going to create within the 3 sports, So I think if you don't know how to do it, like my thing with breaststroke is I like to do it a lot of times after a long bike ride or something, like when I get in the pool, because I feel like it gives my legs a little bit more of a shakeout or something. And I don't know, it helps me kind of get warmed up and ease in. Sometimes I like just to throw that in between a few sets here, or if instead of resting I'll do a 50 down and back in between and not stop and just keep going and things like that. But
the point is and that's with everything swimming, is to have a purpose and be engaged. Like if you're just going to get in the pool and just do it on your own, or your master's coach said do 100 breaststroke and you literally have no idea why you're doing it or how to even do it correctly, then you're wasting 2 minutes of your life. Literally. So if you want to do breast and back, use it as a drill. Use it as to get a good feel for the water on your forearms, pressing it, getting it, grabbing the water. It's also, I would say it's used as also like a recovery, like you're doing it really relaxed. But listen, telling a triathlete who can literally barely sight swimming freestyle on their stomach with their head up, now you're asking them to basically swim upside down and backwards. Thanks. Okay, good luck. It's pick your battles. It's pick your battles.
I can buy into that.
Yeah.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
All right, now this, you said something about feel for the water. I just want a quick departure, and we can drop that. But I think that might be one of the most underrated parts of swimming, actually.
It is.
Okay. We'll get into that later. We'll go on another question here. And I think this is something that a lot of people kind of are nervous about. Don't you agree? Well, you don't know what the question is yet, but going in, it's one of those things
how to
where...
beat goggle fogging.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you think you got it down, but you're never 100% out of the woods on this thing. It seems like, I
got 3 things. That's pretty much all I got on goggle fogging. Because, honestly, how much is there?
Well, I know, but it's still a big deal.
It is a big deal. One is there are a million different goggle sprays out there. They all work, but you have to repetitively use them. Number 2, stop spitting in your goggles.
Okay. All right.
Would you it honestly doesn't. It's a myth. It doesn't do anything. You're literally dirtying up the inside of your goggles with your spit and saliva. You would be so offended if somebody wouldn't spit in your face. Yeah, we spit in our goggles and just shove them right on our eyes.
Well, we wash them out first.
Yeah, with dirty YMCA chlorine water.
Oof. Yeah.
Why, when you get in the car in the winter, why do you need defrost?
Because your body heats it up, changes the temperature of the outside. I don't know. That's my guess.
So quick.
Right.
Oftentimes, especially this time of year, you go in, you get in the pool, and your goggles have been sitting in your bag in the car inside, and you automatically just go change temperatures and shove them on your hot face, and you don't expect the same thing to happen. Mm-hmm. Here's a tip. The next time you get to the pool, throw your goggles in the lane. And then get undressed, get your stuff set out, get ready, hop in the water, put on your swim cap, organize your 19 different swim tools, and then put your goggles on. Give your goggles time to adjust to the temperature in the water, and then put them on. Mm-hmm. And or put them on your face long before you get in the water. That's one of the main reasons you see a lot of athletes when they get on deck for a big swim. You see them at the Olympics, literally have their goggles on, but when they come out of the tunnel. But you want your body and the heat that you give off in your body, and the same thing goes with your eyes, to get to the same temperature. And then you get in and you literally never have a problem once you start swimming. So treat your goggles like you treat your windshield. It's all about acclimation.
It's all about keeping it in the garage.
Yep, it's it. It's all about keeping it in the garage or sitting it outside and letting it run until it gets everything gets to be the same temperature.
Yeah, just drop them over the edge, put a pull buoy on the strap, and then let them soak in there while you're getting ready.
There you go.
That's how I've been doing it for years.
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay. We got a little more time here. You want to get a couple more out of these?
Yeah, we'll do a few more.
All right. So triathletes are terrible at these, and swimmers are good at them. But I think all triathletes want to be like swimmers and do flip turns. Do you see any reason that triathletes should practice on those and get them down? I mean, is there a benefit? No.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
it's one of those things.
There's a million different arguments and a million different people say that. I think it's a 100% total waste of time, because even if you like get it kind of almost down, like spend more time just like literally getting down like how you get on and off the wall. Mm-hmm. I think I would be very confident that doing this against like a person who's swimming around, I can probably do an open turn, which is no flip turn, faster than 99% of people who have just learned a swim turn can do one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if it's about being fast, and just then work on getting on and off the wall faster.
Yeah.
And that's super simple. Google it. It's much harder than trying to do a somersault in the water and do a perfect stroke off and come off sideways and not hit your leg and not be nervous. Like work the walls if that's what you want to do. Is just work on your open turn. And I'm just I mean, I think it's a waste of time. Work on your open turn before you work on the flip turn. A lot of athletes will think, oh, well, it makes you feel like a swimmer. You know what makes you feel like a swimmer? Swimming fast. Mm-hmm. And I'm also like one of those people that I'm not a huge fan of quote unquote working the walls, because it gives a lot of people a false sense of true speed.
Yeah.
They'll do like an all-out 100, and they'll literally push off the walls harder than it would take to like accelerate squatting 250. And they kick so hard off the walls, and they finish and they do like a 120, and they're like, I just can't seem to hold that pace in open water. Like, oh, I wonder why. Yeah. Like, and you're never going to be pushing off that hard or kicking that hard in open water. So like when I do all outs, 25, 50s, 100s, whatever it is, like I hit the wall and I might hit it with like a little more, but not much. Like I literally just push off and just sink to the top and go.
So you go right to the top too. You don't try to beat this.
No.
Okay.
I'm like, listen, diving in and doing like the Ian Thorpe, who like was the first one to do like these like dolphin kicks like halfway down the pool, like A, that's not real life. B, you're probably going to get the lifeguard jumping in like 2 seconds. It's just I don't really know what you're practicing. And so I mean, are there benefits? Like, do you want to say there's a benefit to flip? Oh, what teaches you how to hold your breath longer? And well, okay, but triathlon isn't a breath holding contest, so you're not going to do them in the race. So what's the big deal? Work on your open turns, get in a good rhythm. If you don't, then just stop and start over. Like, big deal. It's all about rhythm, and swimming is so much rhythm and so much being smooth and feeling it and feeling good about what you're doing and getting in the flow. And if you have to do like, if you're doing a flip turn and you look like the 56-year-old dad at the trampoline park trying to do a cartwheel, then it's probably not going to keep you in the flow.
Back to the old man.
That's back to the old man.
Yeah, I mean, I that's the one thing is like, if my thought was like, well, if I could feel not come out of that thing being completely dizzy and freaked out. I thought, wow, that it's probably got some benefit and make you feel comfortable in the water, but it's almost like kicking, it's like, I feel like at some point when I feel like I'm just a swimming machine and that one day I'm just going to do one and it's going to feel natural, and instead of me like spending a whole day practicing how to do flip turns, it's probably just going to start happening. And I would imagine that's maybe how kicking is after 10 years of like a lot of swimming, or maybe not even 10, but you know what I mean? Like it's just, you're just so much more comfortable with every other part of the process that flip turn just sort of sneaks its way into the game. Yep. Yeah, I've tried that before, so it's not pretty. Geez, I don't know. Let me see here. We got maybe time for one more, and
Yes,
I want to skip down. I don't want to go into that next one, but like, let's just go with this big umbrella question. What's the ticket to speed?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know what? This is a great way to end it. And if you have enjoyed this podcast up until now and are afraid you might hear something you don't want to hear, then I would suggest that you stop listening.
But get into our Crushing Iron Facebook group first.
Yeah, but before you go,
Crushing Iron group. Go ahead.
If you really truly want to get better and faster at swimming, truly, you're going to have to swim more and swim harder than you ever have before. And I know that is probably what nobody wants to hear, unless you're one of those people who is committed to being a triathlete and not just a duathlete who slogs in the water before they get started. You've got to swim a minimum of 3 days a week if you really, truly want to get better. Ask anybody in the world about anything, about getting better or mastering something that's so technical, and you're like, yeah, I've got 7 days a week. 2's probably good. Probably like 45 minutes each time. Yeah, that probably gets me done. No. If you wonder why you're still so slow, or you wonder why you haven't gotten any faster, it's because you're not swimming enough. We can bike all the time. I'll bike 3, 4, 5 days a week. I'm getting faster. Wait a minute. But I can't figure out why I'm not getting faster in the pool when I only swim 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
So stop it. Or, yeah, but I already swim 3 days a week and I just can't get any faster. What do? Oh, I get in the water and I swim for 30 minutes.
Right.
Okay. Listen, swimming for 30 minutes is the equivalent of the same person who does like 3.5 hour long runs. Congratulations. It is. You're just going out and you're practicing being the same speed and the same slow for 30 minutes or 3.5 hours. Like, you're literally not doing anything else but going through the motions or checking a box. So if you really truly want to get faster, commit to like not just saying you want to get faster, but recognizing what it's going to take for you to get faster, because it matters if you really want to. But if you don't, then just keep doing the same things over and over again. The other one is figure out exactly what it is you're doing, and because I'll tell you this right now, something as simple, and I don't care if you use me or another coach or whatever you do, is get a swim analysis and get workouts that have a structure and a purpose to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like think of swimming and how useless and like boring and time consuming it is. If I were to say, hey man, go on the trainer and just spin easy for an hour, you'll find a million reasons not to do it. But if I said, go hop on the trainer, here's a structured workout, and here's what you're going to do and why you're going to do it, you're going to do that one. Even though it's harder, it's got structure, it's got purpose, it breaks it down. That's the difference in having a good swim workout versus I'm just going to go do a 1,500 or a 3,000 or whatever. Like, sure, are there times and places for an easy 2K? Yep, as recovery. Other than that, it is, as I think Jeff Dunn posted on our closed active athlete page the other day, it is bone crushing workout after bone crushing workout, even though you can't do that in the swim. But it's swim faster and swim harder and do it for longer. Like that's pretty much put yourself in comfortable, and then learn what you're doing and find a way to actually see what you look like, and then have somebody tell you what you should look like. And then because ultimately that's what we want. If you really want to get better at something and you don't know how, then you figure out what it is exactly. Not just I'm slow. Here's why you're slow. And you know what? I'm just not going to just tell you that here's why you're slow. Like everybody in the pool, oh, well, so-and-so says I don't breathe the right way or that I kick the wrong way. How about you figure out why? you are a certain way, and then have somebody give you reasons, and not reasons, but ways and alternatives and drills or workouts or whatever it is to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a purpose. Now you're going to be determined. Now you can have a light at the end of the tunnel, not just I'm going to go flop around for 1,500 with my snorkel and my fins and my paddles and my buoy, and I'm going to call that a 1,500 and look, I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
That's swimming. That's not getting better.
Well, you say it all the time, and you look at like a bike workout and the different bike workouts, and they all have all these, rest, hard, 10 minutes up, the big gear, all these types of things, and then most people don't think about the pool that way. You have to create, or running, we have hill repeats and speed sessions and all that sort of stuff. Why that has to translate in the pool? You create a strength workout, you create speed stuff, you stir up your body and you do different things, but nobody wants to do that in the pool. They don't think about how to create hills or how do I deal with a fast, flat, you know what I mean? It's just, it's flat water usually, but open water is not, a lot of times. And it's, if you don't have the strength or you don't build up those endurance muscles or whatever it takes in the swim to get through waves and through people and who knows what else, then you wonder what the heck, So it's like, every run course isn't flat.
But why?
Yeah.
You know why. You're just not doing it.
Yep. All right, man. So we've talked about it a few times, but if you're interested in swim analysis or our swim camps, go to crushingiron.com. We have videos there and information, c26coach@gmail.com if you want to see how all that works or sign up for a camp or whatever. Join our closed Facebook group, search Crushing Iron group on Facebook, and we'll let you in there. And a lot of good stuff going on. And
looks like we will have plenty to cover in How to Not Suck at Swimming Part 4. And we'll revisit drills that we like the Tarzan drill, strength work that you may or may not be able to do in and out of the pool, targeted muscles, maybe even a fun master swim rant, stroke rate, hypoxic sets, swim strategy, arm cadence, avoid bending, kicking on the knees, bilateral breathing, all those kind of fun things. We'll definitely cover those, the questions that we missed, and I'm sure a much highly anticipated How to Not Suck at Swimming Part 4.
Yep. Chlorine allergies, cadence. We'll talk about all that stuff.
Yep, we got you.
How to stop your arms from crossing over.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Off deck dry land opportunities, which
dry land opportunities.
All right, well there it was. How to Not Suck at Swimming Part 3. Go check out 1 and 2, episode number 12 and 20 of the Crushing Iron podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for making 2017 awesome, and 2018 is about ready to blow up. And let's get ready and go out and crush some races and training and everything else. What do you think?
And it's for real. And honestly, just a gigantic thank you to the thousands of listeners that we have that take the time to listen to our podcasts and then reach out and communicate with us and be a part of our almost 700 people in our closed group, our Crushing Iron closed group. People have sent us emails. The 90 people who have taken the time to leave us an iTunes review, and whether it was a gleaming 5-star or some good, solid, constructive feedback, we appreciate all of them, and the time you took to listen, and then time you took to give us a review. And then a even bigger thank you to the over 300 athletes that trusted us in some way, shape, or form in 2017, either from personalized coaching, training plans, swim analysis, or one of our triathlon camps. We thank you, and I know I can speak for Mike. We are both incredibly humbled, but even more so, we are very much determined and driven to work even harder for each of you in 2018.
I 100% agree, man. Thank you to everybody. It's been really cool, and we're we're 100% dialed in and going to take this thing up and keep giving you as much as we can. And always open to suggestions and feedback and input. So let it rip.
Chat again next time.
All right, go enjoy some football, buddy, and I will catch you later.
Sounds good, dude. See ya.
All right, man. Bye-bye.